All right, good afternoon, everyone. It's JX Cole here. For some reason, my Steam account refreshed back to Ames. If you're wondering why you see the name Ames on here. But we changed that, and we're now back to our studio name. And as you can see, we're the British. And for some reason, I'm 1v1ing. I suck at the British. And you're about to find out why. So you can see early game, we're pulling out a machine gun, questionable at best, given the close range capabilities of Royal Engineers, but you know, it is what it is. We're taking British Air and Sea Battle Group. We have no clue what any of this stuff does at this point. We're just trying to get some reps in with the Brits. Yeah, we're going to start taking some points. I don't know what the construction time is on a machine gun, but I can only assume that it takes longer than Royal Engineers, which might be why you see some of the higher end players spamming out several Royal Engineers early game. Just kind of get the most control over points and just kind of overwhelm enemy infantry early on. So you can see that we're trying to get close here. We really want to just do as much damage as we can. Oh, I think I remember this game. Maybe not, because I'm the British here. I had a game as the US where my American infantry with upgraded LMGs, 2 squads in a firefight with Wehrmacht airborne engineers, lost the fight. Essentially, 2 squads got wiped by 1 squad of Wehrmacht. The balance in this game is kind of disappointing right now, but you know, aside from that, I think there are meta ways to play every faction, but it doesn't really make it a feel-good situation. So Buddy's bringing in some more airborne engineers here. We've got our LMG, and we're just trying to get it into a position where we can do some work, and we're trying to take over as much ground as we can. Yeah, let's see what happens. So it takes us a little while to get set up here. Sometimes the pathing's a little fucky on the MG. He immediately sees it and says, let's get out of here. Honestly, a good choice on his part. I don't know if I noticed this, but you can see that he has some infantry running between our munitions and our manpower points. So we're going to have to deal with those at some points. And we're trying to min-max our micro there. Just getting those guys as close to the end of the point as possible. We're trying to take out his recce vehicle, which we're not having very much luck with. You really kind of got to ambush recce vehicles early on, especially if you only have 1 squad. And we're feeling pretty good. I mean, whether or not we're doing good is another question, but we're feeling okay. We're taking over points. We have control over 5, which actually isn't very much, because how many resource points are there actually in this map? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 16 resource points. So we want to have control over 8. We most certainly do not. At this point, I probably don't realize that because some of these points are quite large. And so it kind of artificially inflates. Actually, I guess I wonder... So I actually can't answer this question, but I'm curious if there is a correlation between the size of the point and the amount of resources that you get from it. So those infantry are getting absolutely lit up. Our machine gun had to pull back. Lost in a one-on-one battle with infantry inside of a building, which is important to note. So we take supply surplus, and we upgrade fuel. Questionable. Very questionable. You can see we haven't really spent our munitions at all here. Whether or not that's a good idea, probably not. Again, we still only have 5 points. Like, we're getting absolutely wrecked on map control here. And we're kind of... Man... So, early on in my kind of adventures with this game, you can see that I had a lot of trouble with consolidating my forces. We have one squad off by itself in the middle of buttfuck nowhere. We have another squad off by itself in the middle of buttfuck nowhere. We don't know what to buy because we've never played this faction, and overall we're just kind of looking like a scrub. And it really is kind of painful to watch, I'm not gonna lie. So we're getting outplayed by a were sniper and some airborne, and we just refuse to pull these engineers back. After we grab that point, we finally do. Not that it really matters in the grand scheme of things, since we're just about to lose it immediately anyways. So they set an MG up on our munitions point on the hill, and we have a bunch of infantry doing a whole lot of nothing here. So at this point, if I'm looking at this from an external perspective, like, I think honestly we probably need to push map control and then like the northwest side of the map like a lot harder. Take over the second manpower points, get kind of cut off that extra gas from our opponent, and pull out some munitions and just try and hold those top 2 points. You can see I spent a lot of time trying to push the lower point, and I honestly think that the opposing player has the advantage, like even just in terms of things like terrain. Like, let's not really talk about the fact that I have all of my infantry bunched up getting suppressed at once, but even just looking at the terrain, there's a positional advantage here for the opposing player. Do I wipe this? I would love to wipe this, but of course it's not going to happen. So we have a sniper. We're going to try and push the sniper. Unfortunately, simultaneously, we have to deal with these fucking airborne engineers, which are like absolute menaces against literally everything. But we do have a rifle, which is an odd choice. I think this was probably the first time I ever learned that if you take the recce package on infantry, you get a rifle, a scoped rifle. I think this was literally the game where I learned that that was the thing. Which is pretty cool. I mean, like, rifle infantry are pretty sweet. And we're still just trying to push this point. And we're just getting absolutely decimated at range by those airborne. And sniped at the same time. So we're going to pull those guys back. We don't want to give them too much veterancy, and we're going to pull these guys back as well. So we have a little bit more map control here. They still have that recce vehicle up. You can see on our northwest point there's a recce vehicle, and one of my infantry just kind of... oh, it's my MG. No wonder it's not doing anything. Honestly, in hindsight, like, one MG, probably good enough for holding a position. Multiple MGs, like, kind of just very easy to play around, right? Very immobile. And I'm always putting them in positions where they're easily flanked, which is frustrating. That being said, he's also playing MGs. He's just doing a better job of it than I am. If you can manage to catch an isolated infantry squad at range with the MG, it's very effective. And we'll see if they wipe these. I don't think they will. So we're trying to pull up the infantry, or the machine gun here, which, in hindsight, terrible idea. Never move an MG into unknown ground, because you're just going to get pushed by infantry, and they're going to like just run around you in a circle while they kill you. So we've got a good back and forth going here. We still don't have the advantage in terms of points. We're like pretty even on resource capture, and we're just trying to put some hurt on these guys. So you can see that we've got one anti-tank rifle, one scoped rifle, and one LMG on our infantry squads. And so as soon as the armor shows up, we're going to have a really tough time, because one anti-tank rifle is generally not sufficient to deal with. I mean, unless it's like a half-track. We haven't seen any half-tracks, though, which is a pretty good sign that our opponent is foregoing the light vehicles and just going straight for the good stuff. So we're going to pull those infantry back. We want to try and minimize our losses. And we have denied them that point for now. This fucking recce vehicle has been alive for all of existence. Quite frustrating. Again, you can see our forces still quite spread out. Don't really know what I'm doing with that machine gun in the north. It's kind of just hanging out. And we're getting a utility truck, which probably not the best play. I think we're late enough into the game that we really need to be bringing out either some anti-armor or some kind of elite options to deal with the infantry. Maybe some artillery? I don't know. You can see I'm not using my command points. Just scrubbing it up as always. I literally, aside from that one fuel point that I upgraded, I haven't upgraded a single point. So we're trying to bring in some light tanks. It's a little late for light tanks in my mind. I think we're going to see a Panzer very soon here. We'll see. It is a relatively tight match right now, but it definitely doesn't feel like we're doing all that well. Like we're losing a lot of engagements, and we're spending a lot of time just sitting around in a base after our infantry move back. And this fucking recce vehicle, man. I'm not sure if this was a bug or if I kept telling the MGs to attack. So the annoying thing is, if an MG or like any unit doesn't have line of sight to its target or they're out of range, it'll just fucking pack up and leave, which is a little bit frustrating. So we're gonna try and wipe this sniper here. We do get the sniper kill, and I think at this point we were feeling somewhat confident. Like we're battling for. Oh my god, that was fucking filthy. How did I not catch that? That was just like a fucking 400 ELO play on my part. Put 3 units on top of each other and then just not move for the grenade. That was a little pathetic. Anyways, we were feeling somewhat confident here. Like we have control over the ground. It's a hard-fought battle for, the points. Although you can see that the enemy right now is targeting our manpower production. And that's really bad, especially like if we're looking to bring in tanks, if we're looking to build upgraded centers. I would argue that, with the exception of kind of later in the game, like I think manpower is probably the single most important resource, especially when you're giving up 12 kills at a time to grenades and machine guns because you're pinned and aren't really doing anything about it. Like, why am I so bunched up? Don't ever do this. Like, sometimes you'll see people running around with, like, giant blobs of infantry. Like, just spread them out. Like, it's so easy to do. If someone tries to push you with, like, 4 flamer units, if you're all spread out, you can just, like, fucking mop them up and, like, kind of micro 1 unit at a time. Yeah, don't do what I'm doing. I mean, clearly, we can't see who's on that point, and for some reason we're moving a machine gun onto it. Just like an absolute fucking small brain play. So now what's going to happen is we're essentially flanked by the infantry, and we've already set ourselves up, and so we have to reset if we want to take out that unit. Not to mention that we're trying to fight an anti-infantry unit with an anti-tank unit. So we're trading down at pretty much every interaction here, and I think we're starting to get a little flustered. You can see my decision making is definitely a little bit questionable. And I haven't upgraded grenades. And the thing is, the British with rifle grenades, probably one of the best answers for infantry that have recently been suppressed by a machine gun, like in relatively short range or close proximity. So we brought in a centaur. Yeah, the centaur. Okay, so I learned during this battle that the centaur is garbage. It is not not garbage, but it's not an anti-tank vehicle, as I'm about to woefully discover in this match, right? So make sure you read the tooltips where it says anti-infantry, anti-structure. Because this was a big faux pas on my part. I'm running around with the centaur like, hell yeah, dude. I'm gonna be good against infantry. I'm gonna be good against tanks. Clearly paying zero fucking attention. And I guess the best way to learn is to fail miserably. I don't know why we've moved off of that. I think we just really wanted to kill that fucking recce vehicle. Okay, and here's where we discover just how bad this thing is against tanks. So, and this is the moment. The second that round hits, and I go, oh, this is a mortar. Holy fuck! I mean, maybe in team games, if you're trying to fish someone out of a really dug-in position. And I think I just gave up at this point. They've got an anti-tank gun coming at me from the right. They've got the Panzer coming from the left. And this is where we just, the trades are just very negative here. Like things just go very poorly for us. I mean, probably still better than the Stuart, but yeah, we had a bad time. I mean, we're just, MG versus tank. Tank wins 10 out of 10. So we start falling back. These guys have LMGs. Yeah, we really didn't make good use of our machine guns here. Honestly, with all the machine guns we bought, we probably should have just gotten all anti-tank weapons so we could kill that recce vehicle early and kind of deny them some ground. But yeah, just resounding losses. And at this point, we're just kind of hitting the retreat button on repeat. Really not utilizing our scout teams, not utilizing flares. There's a lot of things going wrong here for us. And a lot of learning to be done. So we're going to bring in an anti-tank gun, see if we can put some hurt on that Panzer. The unfortunate thing is we have to get offensive, right? Like we have to try and make some ground, which I find is kind of difficult to do with weapons teams. Yeah, if those guys had an anti-tank weapon, we could get behind that Panzer and put some hurt on. Oh, man. So we lose the point, we get pinned. And for some reason they leave the area, which is quite interesting. So I think... Oh, man, and we had grenades at this point. We should have at least thrown an anti-tank grenade here. We have so much munitions, we're just not making use of it. And things are really just looking not great for us. We do have the majority of victory points, but that honestly just means nothing when we're trading down. Oh my god, getting obliterated here. I should have retreated these guys 5 minutes ago. So this is just a full wipe on the MG. We have this weapons team that is pretty much useless. I mean, we have a couple infantry that are going to do literally nothing against assault grenadiers. Yeah. And we're just bunching up all our units like mad. And for some reason thinking we can win a trade in short range with his infantry. We've got a machine gun on the hill. Man, this is welcome to the slaughter. This is so... Oh, I feel uncomfortable watching this, and it kind of surprises me that this was me. You look back on some of your old games from I don't know how long ago this was, maybe a week and a half. And I mean, I'm pretty new to Company of Heroes. Didn't really play the second one. Played a little bit of the first one when I was 12. How old is the first Company of Heroes? Let's find out. Just gonna do a little search real quick. Company of Heroes 1 release September 12th, 2006. I was 13 years old, ladies and gentlemen. So, and if you think you're a good gamer when you're 12, usually you're not. So, at least not as good as the sweaty adults. So, man, we're just getting absolutely shit on by those grenade launchers. If I was less lazy, we could play for jukes. Wow, they have 2 anti-tank guns. They're really expecting this guy. I don't know. I don't want to say this guy's playing the meta. I guess he's playing the meta, but I think he's expecting me to be doing things that I'm not with the Brits. And I mean, would I play things that different? I'd probably have more assault engineers and more infantry early on to kind of trade more favorably than trying to like sit in place with machine guns early on. Maybe one MG just to cover a point, but oh my god, and the Panzer's back. So for some reason we're trying to push. I think we called in an artillery strike, which is pretty funny, and we're about to lose everything here. Let's see. Oh my god, I don't know how these guys lived, but worked out. So again, we're back to holding 4 points, 5 points, about to be 4 points. So we're just getting completely dominated. 4 to 12. They've got 3 times the resources that we have coming in with double the manpower bonus. I mean, not that that means a whole ton. Like, it's only like +8, but it's definitely significant in the grand scheme of things. Finally got that fucking recce vehicle, we were like way too late on that. We should have gotten that hours ago. But at this point, we're just so far behind. There's like no coming back, and we're trying to scrape together what we can here. Yeah, it's looking pretty dire, to say the least. We're still bunching up all our squads like a complete pansy. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on YouTube, but man, it's like an older generation of terminologies. Man, why do I feel the need to like move my machine guns by like a millimeter arc? And I mean, I get like, I'm trying to like kind of cover the flank of one machine gun with another, but why? Oh my god. And the pathing on the retreat here, just absolutely fucking brutal. Oh god. Let's see if this machine gun actually survives. That's a pretty fun barrage. Kind of like a little mini nuke. Not even watching to see what happened there. Trying to see if I can make a tank, which clearly I can't, man. I've got 45 gas. Like, just wasting APM here. Doing, like, generally nothing useful. My forces are all spread out. I'm fucking standing on mines. Just brutal. Brutal stuff. We're just getting absolutely demolished. So I think at this point, probably safe to skip ahead, save ourselves, 5 minutes of pain here, because there's just a whole lot of lapsing micro, getting outplayed on the flanks, just rough stuff. Do we bring in a tank at any point? Looks like we have the fuel at this point, but we don't have the materials. Trying to make a consolidated push. We've lost the AT gun, which is promising given the fact that we're fighting a tank. And we're just getting we're essentially just kind of yo-yoing between our deployment zone and our front line. So there you have it, folks. 35,000 to 101,000. Yeah, it's rough. This was a rough one. But we've learned a lot since then, and we should be seeing some pretty fun replays coming up here in the future. So like and subscribe, and come hang out the next time stream goes live. Thanks for watching.